Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. You are listening to Comic-Con Radio with your boy, Galaxy, the best in the biz.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy signing in for Comic-Con Radio. Coverage of pop culture events from around the globe. Amazing interviews with celebrities. Daily recaps and reviews of popular television. The Walking Dead. Z Nation. Van Helsing. DC Titans. Flash. The Legends of Tomorrow. Black Lightning. American Horror Story. The Green Arrow. Movie reviews. Everything Comic-Con and fandom from around the globe. Comic-Con Radio. Get ready to enter our universe. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy, and today we have a very special guest, Aleks Paunovic, straight from your favorite TV shows like Van Helsing. He was just on Arrow and so many other amazing television hits. We have Aleks here, straight live on Comic-Con Radio. Aleks, what's up, brother?
My man! Here we are. we finally did it. This is great, man. I'm so glad we got to connect. I'm so excited to be a part of it.
We did. We were trying to get you in your busy schedule, and finally we made it, and we appreciate it so much, and we thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, man. This is great.
We saw you on the last 2 episodes of The Arrow. How was that? That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty fun to do. It was all top secret and stuff, and so when it came out, it was really fun. Great people over there. Amazing director who... He started out as the stunt coordinator for the show, and he was a stunt coordinator for a bunch of shows that we did. He's like one of the best out there. His name's Bam Bam, and James Bamford, and he absolutely annihilated directing those episodes. So I was really happy he asked me to be a part of it.
You weren't like in some costume or makeup or anything like that. It was just straight up you. You played the guard. It didn't show you kicking any butt because, of course, Oliver Queen or Stephen Amell had to be the Arrow, but you did great overall. It was amazing.
I appreciate it. It was just great to be a part of that world and great to work with friends. That's always a blessing for me. I take that over anything. You get a chance to work with friends, and they're talented and they mean a lot to me, and that was Bam Bam for me. And so to be a part of that show was pretty great. And he didn't put me in like 19 hours of prosthetics, so it's great. Even better friend. Those
2 episodes were high-flying. I think they were one of the best episodes of the season. It was just all these things going on, and just to see you there was great. We were getting tons of messages from fans because we posted on social media that we were going to have you on the radio, and people were like, when is he coming? And we were like, just wait up. It's top secret. Just check him out on Arrow, and then you'll get him on the radio.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. I mean, it couldn't have worked out any better because, my schedule has been pretty crazy. And then that episode aired, and then we had a couple great Van Helsing episodes there. And then now I'm here with you. So it was perfect. Perfect timing.
That's it, brother. We had Jennifer John on the show a few weeks ago, and she loves you, bro. And she said you were her main buddy, friend, everything. She met you like a decade ago, and you've been an inspiration ever since.
You know what? I listened to the show because I love her so much. She's extremely talented, extremely kind. And, we met like 10 years ago, and then all of a sudden she walks on the show, and I'm like, yes, of course. This has to happen. The world has to align in a way where I get to work with this, wonderfully talented human. And, if I can improve her experience just a little bit on the show or even in life, I'm a lucky man. So I think the world of her.
That's really a nice thing to say. Being in the film business for such a long time, and you're working, you're paying your bills, you're like a credited actor. How does that feel now that you're at that position?
Wow, that's a great question. Listen, man, I started late. Like, I was playing in a band for years after, like during high school. I was 15 years old in a high school band, and during the summers we would tour the country in Canada. We played in the bars, but then we had to go upstairs to the hotel room because we weren't old enough to be in the bar. So we would just go on stage, play, and then they would kick us out. And we would do that like from grade 10, 11, and 12. And then when we graduated, we just started going on the road and playing. So I got into acting very late, like in my early 30s to mid 30s, and seeing all the people that are around me when I started acting that were being quite successful and younger than me, but I just needed to tell stories. I had to find a way to break out of, bouncer number one, or, just what my image is. And that was really tough, but I knew that there was stories that I could tell as a big man. And I just, had a great support system, great talented people. Tom O'Pennicott is one of my best friends. He really helped me through my early years, and Victor Webster, a great friend of mine that for a bunch of years, and really helped me excel. And I attribute a lot of that to my buddies and my family. And so to be in this position, to be able to have a career, to be feeling like, I can make some great decisions on what roles I want to take. I'm starting to produce now. There's a few projects that are in development that I'm hoping to actually make and be a part of. And that all is attributed to the success that I've been having as an actor and to the people that I've been working with. So honestly, at this second, it's a dream come true. I couldn't have asked for anything more wonderful and beautiful, and everything else is just gravy.
So Victor Webster's a buddy of yours, and he's another taller actor in Hollywood, and he started in soap operas. Did you ever think that you might get into soap operas because of his beginning?
No, he's way too pretty. Soap operas love my buddy Victor. We always bug Victor at how pretty he is. But no, there's no way I would get into that. If they did cast me in it, I would probably be the guy, with that soap opera music, sneaking into the house and breaking in and stealing stuff. That would probably be my role. But and Tom O'Pennicott's 6'4", so it really helped me because I got to see those guys who are also big dudes excel in what they're doing, and it always made it tangible for me. I grew up in a small town in Winnipeg, and a lovely town. I love going back home, and I love my city. It didn't feel tangible, and I went to Vancouver, and I worked with Victor on a movie, and it made it tangible that I could do it, and these guys were great examples for me. Even though I was older than them, they were a lot further in their careers at the time, and still are. And I just love hanging around them, and we feed off of each other's success, and we keep pushing each other. I think that's what friends are for.
That's really wonderful. So are they both from Canada as well, or you just met them in Canada while filming?
No, I met Victor in Winnipeg. He was shooting a movie, and I was a part of that film, almost like his stunt double, because I was part of the stunt community in Winnipeg. And then we just clicked. We just hit it off. Another person I met on that film, who I'm still really good friends with, is Michael Trucco, who ended up doing Battlestar Galactica with Tom O'Pennicott, and so we all kind of reconnected again. And so it's like, and Michael Trucco is 6'3" also. So all these big dudes that were around me being quite successful that I met through acting, and we just stayed in touch.
So when you guys hang out, there's like 3-4 dudes that are 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", just hanging around with each other.
Yeah, that's about it. We have a big boy crew that we like hanging out with. And one of our other great friends used to be a UFC champion who's 6'4" and probably one of the baddest men on the planet, Josh Barnett. So when we all get together, it's kind of fun to watch people's eyes when we walk into a place. But at the end of the day, it's just good, solid friendships, and that's what I really enjoy.
That's just like how it is with my brothers. We're tall as well. I'm 6'2", my brother's 6'4", so I understand how you feel when you walk into a room and people's like, okay, there's the tall dude.
Yeah, it's pretty trippy. But even if people don't recognize us, which is fine, but they immediately think it's trouble because we're big. So I love walking into a place with a little bit of a smile and, this positive energy, because the last thing I want to do is scare people out of a place. That's been my whole life, is just trying to disarm people, going, it's okay, I'm big, but I'm not going to gorilla you. It's all good. Relax,
That's it, brother. Yeah, I've seen a lot of your photos and a lot of your scenes, and you're always smiling online in every photo. Our design team here at Comic-Con Radio made kind of like a photo thing for you on social media so we could do some press and promote the episode, and he said every single photo he's smiling. I'm like, he has to. The dude's taller than hell, man. He's my size dude. You gotta smile. You can't just look grimly
You know what?
mean.
You're totally true. And I had this experience even when I was younger, because like I said, I played in a band when I was younger, so I had hair down past my chest, and it was all flowy and heavy metal and leather jacket. And I remember there were times where I'd be walking down the street to a friend's house, and I see in the distance an older lady, small lady, walking on the same side of the sidewalk, and I would literally just go, okay, energetically just put out the smile, give out an amazing vibe, and then sure enough, she would just cross the street, and I would be like, oh man, she just saw a big dude walking towards her, and off she went. And then I just love practicing that to see if I can exude positive and happy energy to not make somebody cross the street. And that's just, it's a gift and a curse being a big dude. But I love the fact that when people meet me and they're maybe a little bit intimidated, and then when I start talking and sending out that vibe, and then everyone settles. I like doing that switch also. And people, I don't think people really understand when they see a big dude, there's obviously intimidation right away. Like yesterday. Oh, let me tell you what happened yesterday. So I'm walking from the gym to the place that I'm staying at, and I have my boxing gloves under my arm. I'm all sweaty, and the place that I go to is just down a back lane, and then off to the right into a complex. By coincidence, there was a girl in front of me walking to a car. He took the same way, and she kept on checking over her shoulder. And this is during the day, and I just said, "Hey, I just got to sneak by you. I'm just going to the apartment. Don't worry, I'm not stalking you. Everything's good." And then she starts laughing. And I said, I could totally get it. I'm a big dude with boxing gloves in my hand, so I get it. I just want you to be okay. And she started laughing. She goes, "Thanks. I really appreciated that." And that was it. But I understand what people think, so I like to disarm.
That's funny. Hey, man, I feel the same way. I've trained for a long time, and I get that vibe too. But it's all good, right? They got to just, see that smile, and they're like, "Oh, he's a cool dude."
You can't take it personally. It has nothing to do with who I am at all until we start chatting, and that's when everything really comes out. I love going through that, and it's always a nice test for me.
Has your size or height ever affected any job or any role?
Oh, yeah. Early in my career, I auditioned for this film. It was great, and it had nothing to do with my size. I'm a part of an ensemble in an office. And I was super excited because it was one of my biggest roles. And the guy that was the lead in the film, when they saw us together, they saw how big I was compared to him. The director was like, "Composition-wise, this isn't working. Maybe we can write him out of a few scenes so we don't have to try to work with, the composition of this." And I overheard it, and I realized, okay, I got to figure something out. So I said, "Hey, so for this scene, why don't I just slide into the scene in my rolling chair, say my line, and slide out so I'm seated the whole time?" And she said, "Oh, that's great. That'll be a part of your character." I went, "That's a great idea." And I got into more scenes because I just thought on my feet and went, "Okay, I got to move something around here because I'm not the lead, so they're going to get me out of the movie more than they're going to get him." But I managed to put my thinking cap on and just slide in and out of scenes in a chair.
That's something I would do. And I would put the chair on the lowest button possible.
Exactly. Just slide in and out. Yeah. That's how life should be. Just slide in and out.
That's it. Slide in, slide out, get the part, go home.
That's it.
That's funny. You have tons of energy. Being from Canada, I know you've seen a lot of change over there because it's like the new Hollywood in Canada. Everything's filmed there.
It's a blast. I love Canada, man. I go from Los Angeles and Vancouver quite a bit, and I've been really fortunate to live in an amazing city like Vancouver, right on the water. Film is being shot there all the time. Sometimes when we're shooting, I'll have 5 days off before the next time I go shoot, and I don't have to go to a hotel room and kind of like have that my living quarters. I go back to my bed. I go back to the things that I'm used to and the friends that I'm used to. Don't get me wrong, I love shooting out of town and seeing the world, but there's nothing like your own bed. So I love how busy it is there, and there's fantastic and knowledgeable crews, and I think that's the biggest thing. That's one of the only reasons I firmly believe is that Vancouver is as busy as they are. It's not just the talent that's there, which I think there are a lot of talented actors. It's the crew. It's the people behind the scenes that know what they're doing, and people come in from Hollywood and go, "This city can handle this type of project with professional people running the train." And all we do is just say our lines and sit back in our chair. So if it wasn't for those guys, I don't think Vancouver would have an industry. So we're really fortunate we have such talented people there.
I hear that a lot. Everybody that I speak to, they're like, "I'm in Canada right now doing this. I'm in Canada doing that." And I've noticed in the past decade, it's gone so amazing and it's wonderful. And it's like being in a new country, and it's so versatile there. You could make it look like San Francisco. You could make it look like a DC set. You could make it look like Van Helsing. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so eclectic here, and there's so many talented people that build the sets and again do all the behind the scenes things. So they can make anything work in that country. So it's been a joy, man. I feel like I've just been really fortunate and blessed to be a part of this moment in Vancouver and Canada history of how it's blowing up in the entertainment industry.
No, you've absolutely hit it on the head. You've said it right. If it wasn't for such talented people, and I've noticed every television show that's filmed in Canada lasts a few seasons, and the quality of work is amazing, and the sets they look so real. It looks like it's actually a ship or a town. It's not just fake things in the same set in Hollywood, when you see the same street or the same alleyways like they use. And you're like, oh, I've been there. I've been to Universal Studios, It's just so different.
Yeah, they're just really creative, and they're so easy to work with. So it's been an amazing blessing.
You live between Canada and LA.
Yeah, I bounce between quite a bit. Traveling back and forth, it's only 2.5 hours. We don't switch time zones. It's great. It's not a huge jet lag thing. Like if it was New York and LA or New York and Vancouver, that's a huge time difference and long flight. So not to say I don't love New York. I think it's one of the best cities in the world, like everyone else. But I like the idea for quick trips back and forth to LA and Vancouver, being really quick, same time zone. It's great.
You're on a very amazing show called Van Helsing. And you played Julius, which from the beginning has been my favorite character. How does it feel being Julius?
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me, man? It's a blessing. And Simon Barry, who was the creative continuum, was a showrunner of first season with Neil LaBute. I've worked with Simon a few times. He's probably one of the most generous, kindest people you would ever meet. And he allows creativity on set. And being a friend with him before that made it that much easier to share my creative outlook on what Julius is and how I can contribute in a way personally towards the character that will help evolve the show and the character. And Neil LaBute is the same way. I've been a fan of his writing for years, and then him coming to Vancouver to run a vampire show was almost like a dream was answered. I get to work with one of the best playwrights and creatives in our time, and I get to become friends with him. Shaping Julius from the first season to now and what they've seen in him and how he can go throughout the show and a little bit of input that I could put in. It's one of the most creative journeys I've ever had with a character, hands down, and I'm really, really excited and I'm really loving how people are loving the third season.
Well, we love the show a lot. I've been talking to the producers here and the whole team, and I was like, we have to support Van Helsing like there's no tomorrow. It's just so authentic. It's such a different apocalypse show. It's a vamp apocalypse. That's what we call it.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's great. I love that. I'm going to use that, vamp apocalypse.
Well, we also created Scavery, that hashtag that everybody uses now.
Oh, you guys did Scavery?
We did, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yep. I actually created that one.
It's all over the internet. I love it. And those two love it for sure. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, my God, this is brilliant.
Yeah, I sent that to Jennifer a while ago, like over a month and a half ago, and I was like, hashtag Scavery, and now everybody uses it. I was like, I got to make T-shirts with that.
Oh, it's so good. It's so brilliant.
That's cool. That's cool. I wish you had a counterpart, too, and we would have made something like that, too, like maybe Julius Orange Juice or something like that. I don't know. Remember the Orange Julius back in the days? You remember those?
Totally. Maybe it's something with me and Phil. Because I'm always trying to make it right with him, and he's like, "Get away from me, you! You ruined my life."
You guys are like an old couple. You're like following him around. Your character on the show is so humble. You're such a tough dude. You're Julius. I know you guys as vampires still remember what you did when you were human, and now that you're human again, you remember what you did as a vampire. So you're being so kind and nice to everyone. But in this last episode, you got kind of like mad. You were like, I'm going to get you, that rage. How did that feel changing that tone of yours?
It was the perfect timing for it because his patience, I think that was the key thing. Like there were some things in the previous episodes that I could have easily gone into the rage. And I decided I don't think this is the time. He's all about his patience and paying his dues and righting all his wrong to swallow a bit of hurt so other people don't hurt. That's his journey. But when this thing happens with when he could finally have feelings for someone that took him by surprise, and not just Scab, but I guess the vampires in general took what I did to Phil that's the thing that was like, no more. I've got to stop this. And that's where his rage comes in, with the emotional feelings towards my love interest, and just the actions of taking something away from Julius is the thing that took him over the edge. And that's, I think he's had enough, man. You know?
You were like helping Phil in that episode, trying to find his wife, and you're
hey,
like,
how about Phyllis? Phil and Julius. Phyllis.
Phyllis sounds like an old grandma name.
I know. That's even funnier. Sorry, that just hit me.
That's funny though. I'm gonna use that today. I'm gonna tell our social media guy to do that.
Phil and Julius. Phyllis.
Phyllis, yay! We heard it here on Comic-Con Radio first. Julius and Phyllis, the new Phyllis. Doesn't Scavery sound so much more tougher? And you're like a big dude, and it's Phyllis.
yeah, that's hilarious. It's hilarious. Sorry, that just hit me.
It has to match your smile. So I think Phyllis is funny, because then you can do. Why don't you do this? Get a picture today, like do like a very funny like smile, and then we'll put hashtag Phyllis below it.
But you know what we should do? We should Photoshop half my face and half Phil's face, and that's off the show, and that's Phyllis.
We'll do that today. My guys are nodding their head. They're gonna start on that today.
Oh, that's hilarious! Like a split screen of our faces.
That's funny.
I'm laughing way too hard at that stupid joke. That's hilarious.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. And we just wrote it down, and they're starting at it right now. So maybe in an hour or two you'll see it, and we'll tag you with it.
Oh God, that's hilarious. Okay, sorry, I interrupted you. What was the next? What were we saying?
No, it's okay. Hey, this is how the show has to go, right? Very natural.
Love it.
We love it too, my man. We love it so much. No, I was just saying that, I lost my train of thought.
I know. So I jumped right into that. Okay, okay, let's figure out something else to talk about. We'll come back to it if it hits us.
Yeah. I was like, okay. I keep remembering Phyllis and a like a smile, and then half of Phil's face, and I was like, okay, or Vincent's face. Let's say that.
Vincent, yeah.
Who's the most important person on set with you? I know you probably have one person that you always go to that you're feeling a certain way.
Well, that's really interesting. Like, there's so many. Here's the thing, man. Everyone is so tight on the show, as in, like, we've got such a great bond. Like, Trezzo and Jonathan Walker, one of the executive producers and writers, Jeremy and Matt, who are a couple of the other writers, executive producers that did the last episode, wrote the last episode, and a phenomenal job. They're buddies we hang out with. There's so many friends that are. It's not just a set relationship. We all kind of hang out and touch base and have so much love for each other. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's one of those things where everyone's there for everyone. But for me, story-wise and hanging out-wise, Neil LaBute, being such fast friends with him, even though he wants to kill me every episode and teases me about it, which is hilarious to me, but he's a great guy to call upon. Chris Heiderdahl, with his experience and his gentleness and his great insight, he's a great guy to talk business with and life with. And so is Jennifer. Rukia is one of my favorites of all time as a person, and just so many wonderful people to have a sit down and hang with and a trust session with, because this is a show we really care about. We're really bonded. It's no other show that I've been a part of. I'm extremely fortunate to have one of these in my life. And if anybody can have one of these in their life, this type of experience on a show and friendship, then they're that much ahead of the game. So I'm really fortunate that I get to kind of share not only set stories or set life and issues, but life issues, because we're just such a tight group.
That's what I tell everybody. The sci-fi fandom, Comic-Con community, it's all about love. And I've noticed the actors that are in the shows, they're so amazing. They do so many wonderful things for the fans. Like, no matter if the fans have like 20 followers or tens of thousands, you guys give the same response, and that's so amazing. And people notice that, and you have a lot of following. Here's the one thing. We need to renew Van Helsing because it's an amazing show. It's on SYFY, and I know a lot of people don't have certain channels, but I always say hashtag watch live. That's another movement we started here, hashtag watch live for your show and for a lot of other shows, because even if you have 1 million followers, if they're not watching live, it can't go on because the networks, all they look at is numbers. How do you feel about that, man? Like, what do we got to do about it?
I love that you started that, and it's one of the coolest things because that hashtag watch live and hashtag renew Van Helsing, it all matters. It's not like SYFY and the executives aren't seeing the effect that social media has. And so I personally think, watching the show live is a huge thing, but also they look at Twitter, they look at the numbers, they see the fan dedication, and I cannot believe the dedication that we have from our fans. And to me, I love engaging. I love having fun with them. I love being personal with them. I'll even send personal messages because I'm that grateful that they're watching the show and you guys are watching the show, and then making an effort to want more and making a stand that you're making a movement to watch more, watch it live, renewing the show. All of that matters to us. And I truly believe what you're doing matters to the network. And I feel pretty confident that we'll come back. But again, I'm just grateful we got this much. Every season we get, I'm prepared it's the last, and I want to have the most fun that I can, because those numbers, those are things we can't control. All we can do is the best that we can with each other, have the best time we can have in life. And if it means moving on to another show because it's had its run, I salute it. I give it tribute. I'm never angry about it. I'm more like, okay, well, that was the chapter of the book, and now I got to move on to another chapter. But this chapter, Van Helsing chapter, is one of the best chapters in my life. Do I want to keep it going? Absolutely. Do I give it tribute all the time? And again, it comes down to the fans on Twitter making movements. It's more than just the viewing. Absolutely, we need people watching the show live, but there's a different element, and you guys have started that, and you guys have spread that. I guarantee you it's not going unnoticed, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart and I'm sure the whole cast and crew does that you guys have really pushed this at a different level, and it's just a beautiful thing to see. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. We appreciate that you notice it, and we appreciate that you're so kind to the fans, because it's all about the fans when it comes to SYFY and fandom and Comic-Con and all that, because the fans drive it. We could have the best shows, the best radio, the best Van Helsing, the best actors, but if it's not the fans, it's nothing. And you notice that, and you guys notice that so well. And for you to message these fans privately and give them love, that's a huge thing, because we work with other shows as well, and we've worked with them for years, and we go to the events and we do panels. They're not the same. They're different. And you guys are straight up good people, and we love you guys for that. And we noticed that as well. You probably get a ton of fan response for yourself, especially being Julius. I think, from me, I'm saying this, I think you're one of the top 3 characters that has to be on the show. They cannot get rid of you. They can't even play with that.
Dude, thank you so much. I love playing this character, and I love what they did with the character. The writers are so smart that they played with my strengths, and they wanted to magnify that. I honestly love it, and the fan response to this character and me has been nothing but the most rewarding thing ever, and I don't want to go anywhere. And Neil LaBute's probably going to listen to this and go, I'm going to find other ways to freak him out and tell him how I'm going to kill him. But that's okay, as long as I don't die. But you heard what he did last season, right? The big practical joke?
No, I didn't. What was it?
Oh my God, dude. Okay. We're gonna get this out quick. I'll do Cold Notes version. So ever since Neil and I have been tweeting with each other, the joke has been how I love being a part of the show, and I'm talking to fans, and then Neil will jump in like a tweet of, it's so great that you're talking with the fans. Too bad you won't be back next episode. And then I will respond with that like surprised look on my face kind of emoji. And then fans would go, no, you can't kill Julius. I go, buddy. And I'm like, buddy, don't kill me. He goes, well, maybe not next episode, maybe another. So his whole joke is killing me, and I play along. So last year, episode 13, I get the script, I read it, and sure enough, it says, and then Julius dies. And I'm like, what? And I read it again. Did he just kill me in the last episode? So I contacted one of my friends, and they go, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, yeah, I read the episode that you're dead. I'm like, so you read it that way too. So I do die. And she goes, yeah, you die in the episode. I'm like, oh my God. So I call up Neil. I'm like, hey, buddy, I'll chill. Hey, buddy, it's a great episode. I just read it. It's amazing. So I do die. He goes, oh my God, the script wasn't supposed to go out today. It was supposed to go out tomorrow. Can you please call me? This was all in text. So I drop my phone. I'm like, oh my God, I am dead. So I call him. He goes, yeah, we just think it's a great story of a great way to end the season of killing you. But I'm sure you'll find other shows. And I'm like, yeah, man. I'm just happy to be on the show. He dragged that on for 20 minutes and then finally goes, I gotcha. And I'm like, no. I go, how did you pull all that off? And he said, well, I couldn't just give you the script. I had to give everybody the script, and I had to let everyone believe that you actually died, or else the joke didn't work. I'm like, you just pulled off the greatest practical joke in joke history, and I lay down my hat to you. And so we had a really good laugh about it, and everybody else was like laughing about it. It was the best practical joke I ever got, and I think it was hilarious. He's hilarious.
That's a funny situation, but it's kind of sad too, because I know probably in your tone you were like, "What the hell?" Inside you wanted to be like, "Ah, what are you doing to me?" But you were like, "Hey, it's
buddy,
okay."
Buddy, my whole tone was like, "Hey, man, I totally get it. Like, I get that. This is the way story is." And inside. Can I swear on this?
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm listening to him tell me the reasons, and I'm verbally going, I totally get it. And inside I'm going, no, fucking no, I can't fucking be, no, fuck, why? And then, no, I get it. So it was definitely, inside was raging, and outside was just trying to be calm and relaxed. And meanwhile, it's exactly what he wanted. He's one of the best practical jokers out there and best dudes. I love him to death, and I'm scared to how I think I'm going to get him back, but I want to get him back.
Uh-oh, that was scary, especially giving the, script to everyone, making everybody think that, and you probably had a heart attack, and then he's like, give me a call. Let's talk about it.
It's honestly the best practical joke ever, and I had nothing. I just was like, you win. Here's the conch. You are king.
You are king of the practical jokes, and you got to kind of be like, in a way, you win, so he doesn't do that again for real life, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was funny. It was funny. It was good times.
He's like, I'll buy you lunch, brother. That's funny. That's a great story. That's so cool. I hear a lot of these different stories on set, but that one is really great because it messed with your emotions on a serious level.
At the same time, it's one of those things. He knows that I would not be upset at something like that, it being a joke. And I know that where his heart is coming from is just all fun and games. I mean, it's all about fun and games in this world. So you can't take anything too seriously. And I honestly like being the butt of the joke sometimes and self-deprecating because I love that type of humor. So he understood it, he knew it, and I think that's why we get along so well, is that we just kind of read each other. And that's like that with, honestly, the whole cast and crew. Jonathan Walker loves doing the same thing to me, and I do the same thing back to him. We just have a really great time. And Jonathan Walker, who is one of the executive producers and lead writers, is an actor on a show called Snowpiercer for TNT, and so am I. So we get to see each other on another show all the time, and then we were seeing each other on Van Helsing. So it's kind of a blessing that I get to work with such great people.
People don't realize, they think this is just some kind of sci-fi show, apocalypse show, whatever. They don't realize how many great people are involved. You have Neil LaBute, a great playwright, and you have, all these other amazing people. It's just, they have to know these things, that so many people are involved to make this wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone gets it. And I think we're all right on point, and I think everybody's receiving what we're giving out, and vice versa. We're receiving what the fans are giving out. So it's just a great thing to be a part of.
Has Neil ever spoken to you about it, working for any of his plays that he does in New York?
Oh no, we haven't spoken in that manner, and that's one of those things where we met on this show, and we keep it this show. And if anything came up with, if Neil wanted me to walk on and serve coffee to someone and walk off, and that's my part, I would do that in a heartbeat. I would do anything the guy asked with his work, because he's just that good.
That's awesome. And that's good you have such a positive attitude, being an actor for so long, and you have that, that face that everybody recognizes. Of course, we're part of the big boy club, so that's noticeable as well. And, you've been doing this for so many years. Aside from Van Helsing, which is one of the most favorite character you've done.
Well, I've got some stuff coming out now that I'm really blown away at, and really I can't wait for people to see it and I'll obviously talk about it, but I can't talk about it now. But in my career, there was this one role with this amazing, and it was a perfect time in my career where I was struggling with roles that I wanted to get and wasn't being cast in it, and taking me out of just being a big dude. And this role came in that I went out for a film called Personal Effects, directed and written by David Hollander, who I was a fan of. And he's actually the executive producer and lead writer for Ray Donovan, which is a show that I absolutely love. But this was pre-Ray Donovan days, and he did a film called Personal Effects. I auditioned for a guy named Tom who was mentally challenged, and he was accused of killing Ashton Kutcher's sister, and it was this whole relationship and loss. And I remember going to the audition and making a choice for this character, having the director David see that this is something that he can work with, and the whole time I'm hoping he can look past the size and just see the work. And he did, and he worked with me in the audition, and then he booked me, and I was so happy. And I remember Tomo took me out for dinner to celebrate it, because it was such a special role at a special time in my career. And then it became one of those things where I was super excited. So the next day I booked the gig. The next day I went to the gym. I was feeling great and went boxing with Tomo, lifted some weights, and then came home. And then I was going to work on refining, getting that character in my body. And then I realized he's too strong. I can go deeper with this character. So I decided not to work out anymore. I decided not to work out. I didn't do a push-up for 3 months. And I just kept on eating. I wanted to be sloppy and overweight. So I put on close to 50, 60 pounds of just fat. And my knees hurt. My mood was up and down. I was emotional. I was angry. But the happiest I was is when we were shooting, because it was bringing all of that out in those moments. And I remember friends that haven't seen me for a while would walk up to us. We would talk outside of the movie, and then they would go to Tomo. "Ooh, what happened, Aleks? Is he okay?" And Tomo had to explain the situation, because I just did not look good. But that was one of the most rewarding jobs I ever had, because I really sunk into the character. I really wanted to give this character the respect it deserved, and I'm really happy how it turned out. I don't think I would go through that kind of body transformation again unless I did it medically or with a doctor. I just kind of did it on my own. But when I look back at it, I'm really proud of the work. So that's probably one of my favorite characters and defining moments that I've had in the film industry.
I couldn't put on 50 pounds for a role, because it would take me 2 years to get that out. But how long did it take you to get that weight off and to transform back to your normal self?
It took a long time, but right after that, I was offered a film that I just didn't feel like doing, just because I wanted to get back in the shape. And then there was another film that came that I had to play a rage. The film was called Fireball, and I had to play a raging, chemically steroid-induced villain that used to be a football player. So he was this big, massive steroid guy that all the chemicals that he put in his body gave him the ability to shoot fire. So it was this SYFY film thing with Ian Somerhalder. And so all of a sudden now I had to, in the next 2.5 months, I had to try to look as muscular as possible, and that was really tough. So it was quite a swing. I didn't get to where I wanted to be in the film, but I definitely did a lot of work to get there. Put my body through a lot, but I kind of love doing stuff like that. I really love being in the elements. I did a film called Numb, where we were in the winter elements, a small crew, not fake snow, freezing our asses off. I love those things because it brings out the realness in the acting. So being able to do Tom and Personal Effects and go into Fireball and then do a film like Numb, those are the type of projects I really enjoy, putting my body through difficult situations and the camera capturing that authentically. So those are the kind of things I really dig.
And it shows in your acting. I know this is a Vamp Apocalypse television show, and I know some of the other characters you've done are mostly sci-fi, but your acting comes through, your facial expressions come through. And I've been getting a lot of messages from like the female fans out there, and they're like, oh, when you ask a question, can you ask this? Can you ask that? I was like, I'm not going to ask another big dude a question like that. You guys have to ask him yourself. Just follow and ask him. But a lot of the fans love your pictures when you're wearing suits and you have like that one with your cigarette and all that. What do you feel about that when you get all these? And I know, you have a significant other, and I know but still, you're out there and you're a movie star, and girls are going to make comments. How do you feel about that when you get those kind of comments?
Well, I actually don't have a significant other, but I hear what you're saying.
You don't? Okay.
No, I don't.
I'm wrong then. My guys here did bad research. I'm going to kick their ass after this show.
But it's all good. It's all good. I just got out of a 9-year relationship, but it was absolutely a wonderful journey. We're still friends. It was just she's still one of the most lovely people I've met, but we're not together anymore. But it's okay, and it's good for us. But it's again, she's literally one of the best humans on the planet. That's all I need to say. So I don't mind that stuff, man. Like, honestly, I'm not a big fan of getting my picture taken, but I'm a big fan of people that want to take my picture that I have a gel with, like, that make me feel relaxed when we get it done, because I really don't like it. There's a buddy of mine named Aaron that takes some great pictures, and he's a friend first and a photographer second to me. Same with my friend Denny, who's phenomenal. Brendan Meadows, who's phenomenal. These are all people that came into my life, and we became friends, and that made it so easy and relaxing to take these type of pictures. I don't seek it out. I don't really like to go and do this kind of stuff. But when I'm asked with people that I really enjoy, then I have a good time. And, the responses have been great. And it makes me feel great that they appreciate it, and they appreciate their work more than anything. And that those guys that are taking the pictures get more work because somebody may like the picture or want to get their picture taken from them. So I have a good time with good people, and I love the responses, so I appreciate it.
That's a cool answer you just gave. You just basically made it all about everyone else and not about yourself. Because if it was anybody else, they would have said, yeah, girls, DM me, I'm free now. And then you made amazing comments about your significant other because, she probably has a scissor waiting for you. But, that's very humble of you to be like, hey, the photographers are the ones that took the pictures, give them work. And that's an amazing part with this community and how you are as a person, because right there, you just spot check 3-4 people and their names so people notice them and be like, oh, who is this? Who is that? And that's a wonderful thing to have. And I give my hat out for you because I hear a lot of great things about you. I interview a ton of people. I do about 5 or 6 interviews a week, and about 3-4 times your name has come up as a cool dude and like somebody that they really admire. So look, it shows in this episode. It really shows your real side. You are Julius, the nice one, not the bad one, from Van Helsing, and probably even more than that. But where do you want your career to go from here? What is the ultimate goal?
I just had this conversation yesterday, and funnily enough, I had dinner with Victor Webster and my good friend Paul last night. And again, that's the kind of relationships you want to keep on nurturing. I love acting. I love telling stories. I love feeling like, the vessel, the 6'5" vessel that I have, and all the stories that are in my body, all the scars, all the healing that everyone that goes through in life has. There's no easy ride for anybody. And I think the more scars you have internally and physically are the stories of your life. A clean road in one direction, to me, is not an exciting life. You need those windings up and down to kind of really, at the end of the day, you're on your deathbed and you go like, man, did I live a life? Like that's the kind of thing I want. And so telling stories is a huge part of my life. And I feel like no one can tell a certain story the way I can, as just like no one can tell a certain story the way another actor with a different vessel can, and finding the best and the worst within me to tell that story. So again, I love acting. I love telling stories. I want my next journey to, or a part of my journey. I would love to be a lead on a show that meant something to people, and I would love to kind of be the focus or the driving force behind a show that has 150 people working on set. You're paying 150 people their mortgage. They're feeding their family, getting them vacations because they're coming to a job that you helped create or that you're a lead on it that helped kind of move it forward. I love that. I'm leading towards something that, especially in a producing aspect, because I have some shows in development, and Simon Barry, who created Continuum, was the guy for me to watch him walk on a set, smiling with everybody, giving people jobs that he's worked with in the past or he's gone to writing school with in the past, and seeing everybody light up and 150 people working because of your idea. I can't see anything better than that. I think it's the most phenomenal thing that a person can go through, and I'm really hoping to get to that level and be able to do that for a lot of people and myself. So that's kind of where I see it going, and I'm pretty confident we're going to get there.
That's a really great vision to see yourself, and that's kind of like a great goal that a lot of people should have. And I love, like you always say, to give jobs. But I understand the struggles of being an actor and all these stuff. And I love how you're saying, hey, as I grow, I like to do this because I want to help others and give jobs to them. And that transcends. And the universe hears you, brother, telling you, God only knows who hears these episodes. And they're going to listen to you. They're going to be like, this guy is great. And the energy you're giving is amazing. And I think it's that big dude energy because you just like trained yourself through your life to be like, okay, smile, be positive, be amazing, help others, be great. Also make yourself amazing, but at the same time help others. And that's a great trait. Everybody loves you for that, bro. It's really cool. Now, how was it when you were on the set of Arrow working with Stephen Amell, another Canadian? Did he know about Van Helsing? How did you feel working with him?
It was fun to work on the show, and I think he does a great job. And we didn't really get a lot of time to communicate, but he's got a great team there. Like everyone a part of that show, they've been there 7 years. Everyone a part of that show knows exactly what's going down, and it's a great team. And they have a great show. He's a great leader in that aspect of people really loving his work, and you can tell that the team is just like a well-oiled machine. And again, I'm just going to go back to my experience with James Bamber, the director of the episode, because oh my God, like I've worked with him so many times, and to see him go from a stunt coordinator to now directing episodes in prime time on such a successful show. God, I couldn't be more proud of the dude. He's phenomenal. And again, going back to what you were saying earlier about giving out the positivity and stuff like that, you got to understand, like for me, it didn't just happen. There was a lot of work that happened with me because when you're a young person not knowing these hormonal feelings that you're growing up as, and you grow up a certain way, the intimidation factor I had like full of when I was younger, being a big guy that knew how to fight and not know how to kind of be on the other side. I felt like I was a bully at times when I look at it, and I felt like I was bullied at times. But a lot of times that I think I felt bullied was my own insecurity. It was me not feeling, either smart or tough enough, where somebody would say certain thing and I would take offense to it, and then come back at them times 10 with what they gave me, and realizing over time it doesn't serve anybody. And I needed to get past that in my, early teens to early 20s to this thing of going, this is not the right way to go about it. Getting into street fights or getting into, arguments or trying to intimidate somebody or feeling like I'm being intimidated so I have to one-up them. All that stuff is a growth period. And I'm so glad I went through that to see the other side of going, this doesn't serve anybody. And the only way I can serve people and myself, and at the end of the day, I tuck myself into bed and I wake my own self up. How do I live with myself? And that journey of finding the light and finding positivity became way more overwhelming and more positive, and stayed in a good place in my bones more than the other stuff. That doesn't come alone. It comes with people that you're friends with, that you can trust. You get through those moments. You have help with those moments. So again, I love everything that you're saying, and I feel like I am the person that you're talking about. I'm really happy with who I am, but it came from a place that I had to know. I had to experience the terribleness of the other side of how I was treated myself and how I treated others, then switching gears. And I could not do that without knowing the dark side, if that makes any sense.
It makes absolute sense. You had to see the one side in order to learn how that feels, and then you switched it up and you said, hey, I have to be positive. Because growing up, you're probably always tall and, from a young age, similar for myself, and I know a few other people like that, and you get put into situations and you're young, things happen, and as you grow you learn, and now that you're older you see what's up and you give this positive vibe, and it's just an amazing thing that you're growing, that you're always ever changing, you're always ever knowing your surroundings, and that is a perfect trait to have, because a lot of people are just stuck in their ways and you're just evolving yourself, man.
I totally agree, and I think we all are in some way, and just giving an outlet and being a big dude and being able to share my story like this, and maybe somebody, a big kid in it, that's 15 years old going, I don't like being this guy that I am right now, and here's a big dude that I admire on this TV show telling me that he felt the same way. I need to go to somebody I trust and just get this angst off of my chest and help me deal with it, as opposed to putting it through physically and holding it in and just getting it off of you so you hurt somebody else so it gets off of you when it doesn't have to be that way. This journey, it's the scars that you wear and how you learn from these little marks that you look on a scar on your cheek and you go, oh, I remember that and I've learned from that. That's where I think the beauty of life is. And then you get to this point of sharing your struggles and your successes. There would be no bullying if there were no bullies. So you got to stop it at the core. So yeah, man, I'm having one of the best times of my life, and I just want to keep on sharing not just my successes, but how I got here and how I learned.
Like you said, a teenager listening to it, and they're like, hey, why am I doing this? What am I doing wrong? Oh my God, this is, Aleks Paunovic. Wait, it's Julius from Van Helsing, actually. He's saying you can change. That's a great thing. And bullying is a huge problem. And for you to talk about this, it's wonderful. And people do listen, and your word carries through. I hope it changes people, and I hope it's for the better. I know you started with stunts first, and you had to because, of your size and all that.
Any type of background in martial arts or boxing, because I come from a boxing background, it's a platform for how to treat life. Like you get knocked down, you get back up. You manipulate situation in a way, like when I say manipulate in a very positive way, how can I get out of this situation? I got to stay calm. I got to be all on point. I think anybody that's in martial arts, it's a great metaphor for life for sure.
Oh, yeah, and you're boxing as well, because I know in Van Helsing and even other shows you've done, they bring out that boxing background of yours. And you were an amateur champion, or what was your boxing background?
Yeah, I was an amateur champion in a couple provinces, and I went to pre-Pan American Games. So, yeah, I was boxing at a very high level. Then I hurt my shoulder, and then it was like one of those things of like, what should I do? Because I was still playing music at the time. I had to hide me boxing when we were touring because the guys were like, hey, listen, you break your hand, we don't have a gig. I'm like, okay, so, try not going boxing anymore. But I would still sneak out and do it because I just loved it so much. And but sure enough, if there was a problem in the bar when we were playing, everyone came to me to kind of protect the band. So I'm like, hey, you got to let me box if you want to protect the band.
Yeah.
So, but I just find boxing such a huge thing for me. I did a play, my very first play called Danny in the Deep Blue Sea about 7 or 8 years ago. I was so nervous, man. I was so nervous before we went up for the first time. And it's a 2-person play, so I'm going to be up there the whole time memorizing a whole play. I was so nervous, and I had these butterflies in my stomach. And then all of a sudden I went, wait a second. This is exactly what it feels like before I went to fight. So I knew exactly how to relax myself. I did some shadow boxing. I told myself, well, at least no one's going to punch me in the face out there, so it's even easier than boxing. So just go and have fun. So boxing helped me get into this, the mindset of being in a play for the first time. I think martial arts and boxing are huge in life and going through stuff. So with that play, it really helped me.
Oh, yeah. I tell everyone, do boxing, do martial arts. It's a great foundation for every person to grow their life. It teaches discipline. And like you said, it teaches you how to manipulate your own body so you could be in winning situations. It's like chess.
You're absolutely right. You challenge yourself physically and mentally. The life stuff, it's just easier to kind of work through. Absolutely.
That's amazing. Where do you see yourself in the next couple of years? I know you have some projects that are top secret. You can't talk about it. I know everybody in Hollywood has top secret projects, but is there anything you want to shout out to the fans for you to watch, to follow?
Just have fun. If you want to follow me and see what I'm up to, send me a message. Let's have fun with just kind of like conversing. There's some cool stuff coming up. When it's top secret, it's because if I say anything, I'll get sued. So it's not, I'm not trying to just keep it from you. But
we know that. They know that.
I also think in a couple years, honestly, I see myself having a project that I developed that I can walk on the set and have 150 people working. That's my short-term / long-term goal right now, is to really make that happen, because, man, every time I think about it, I beam. I just have this amazing feeling. And in the meantime, just, find some cool stuff that I love working on and meeting new people and just kind of keep on moving.
And you're being positive to the last second, always wanting to give. And I hope your next project with that 150 people, I can come out and I can just watch everything on set.
Oh, dude, come to set. Yes, come to set. You will come to set. Or how about this? If your tweets work and everything works out and we get a season 4 on Van Helsing, let's talk about it. And I would love you to come to set and enjoy a day.
Let's do it. That'd be amazing. I've been to some sets already, and they're wonderful. I would love to be on the Van Helsing set and come on by. I think season 4 is going to happen. We're going to work even extra hard now. We're going to blast every page we have and every nook and cranny. We're going to make people vote. We're going to hold something on their head and say, hey, we're going to get you if you don't vote for this. So.
You're the man. You're the man. I love it. Thanks, man.
You got it. Well, we've had a wonderful chat. You're ultra amazing till the end. I know you have such a busy day, and I know you got to move on and stuff like that. So I want to go ahead and announce a couple of things for you. If people want to reach you out on social media, what's your Twitter?
My Twitter is Aleks Paun, ALEKSPAUN, on Twitter and on Instagram, and a fan page on Facebook, just Aleks Paunovic.
There you go. And they can follow you and they could see what's going on. Of course, they're going to IMDb Pro you because they want to see all your projects. They love you on Van Helsing. You were great on Arrow and all the other shows you've been on. I think you are one of the most positive people I've spoken to so far. You're a great guy, all around wonderful gentleman. We loved having you on the show. We appreciate your time and everything. And now it's the end of the show, and I do my ending finale. So I always say at the end of the show, I say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy with Aleks Paunovic from Van Helsing. And we had a wonderful show, and we're signing off Comic-Con Radio, and we blow 100 kisses to everybody. 100 kisses. There you go, man. All the ladies just grab that and put it in their purses. And we're signing out of another amazing episode of Comic-Con Radio. Anything else, Aleks?
You're doing a great job, man. Don't stop. And it is a wrap.
That's it, brother. See you guys. Peace.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy signing out from another amazing episode of Comic-Con Radio. Tune in for your daily shows of Comic-Con Radio. Go to comiccon-radio.com. Reach us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Comic-Con Radio. You can call us toll-free right now. 800-976-0305. 800-976-0305. Comic-Con Radio, taking the world one listener at a time.